What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. All right, guys, it's your boy Payne. It's Saturday. I'll take my kids to go see Santa Claus at the mall. It's gonna be interesting. I'm like, please, Santa, please be a good Santa. Don't be one of those cigarette smoking Santas. Anyways, I'm here to talk a little bit about older characters, and I think this is something we all need to discuss. But first off, you guys can see here, Wu the God just multiplied. I don't know how he asexually made another copy of himself, but he's right there staring at something. I'm assuming he's staring at Stacy Longlegs. Let's see. Is he? No, he's staring at this chick. All right, not bad. Let's both stare at her. I want to talk a little bit about the older characters that need a little bit of love. All right, now we know that Marvel likes to go back and buff characters that need it, right? And usually when the buffing happens, it coincides with some form of release of a character or just overall the element that's coming out that it's going to affect. Now, there are some characters that still need a lot of love. One I want to particularly focus on that many people still sleep on, and rightfully so, and might make a difference when the new sets, if there are new sets that come out for defense. What I'm hoping to see, ideally, is with all the defensive units coming out or have been released and how good they're doing, we need a little bit of artifact love to give defense better scaling options, right? Because defense, unlike most other games, is no longer considered a quote-unquote tank. Most of these defensive units are, in fact, DPS. Right, that's right. Most of them are high-level DPS, which put up big numbers, and one of them over the rest stand out. And specifically, I'm referring to our favorite villain, Dongsoo, or Dongpu, whichever one you want to talk about, right? I think this is one of the most underdeveloped, underused characters of SSRs in the game. He's so underdeveloped, the game hasn't even given him to me on my free-to-play account. That's how crazy it is. So I think it's gotten to the point where, like, they need to really show him some love, especially because of how strong defensive units that are coming out now are versus what he is. Now let's go through his kit a little bit. And I want to discuss this, and I think this is one of the characters that definitely, with the release of Thomas, should have a massive buff because they are obviously both in the Scavenger guild together. It only makes sense that when a character comes out, like I said, they usually buff another character that has some form of involvement with that specific unit release. Now in this case, we are referring to, obviously, like I said, Thomas and the Scavenger guild. So Dongsoo here, quite honestly, has really, really high potential. Like, I'm talking about really high potential. First off, his weapon, right? The user's wind damage is increased by 4%. Now, we know how strong this weapon can be because wind damage is currently killing it in terms of meta. They're one of the strongest elements in the game, right? Thanks to Mirai, thanks to Wu being a breaker, and Hansimi obviously being a fairly decent support. This character here can actually bring quite a bit to that group if they just do the proper buffs. Now, how could they buff him? Okay, so increases the user's basic skill damage by 3%. So first off, that needs to improve. All right, when the Impulse of Revenge or Madness effect activates, can stack up to 15 times. How this can improve? Well, simply look at the way they updated SM Beck. SM Beck focuses a lot on his basic attacks. They could do the same rehaul on him, giving those basic attacks even more power and giving them better effects. Now, if you don't know what Impulse, Revenge, or Madness is, I'll show you that in a second, okay? And you guys can get a better understanding. But this here is just not strong enough. Now, he is a fast attacker, so basic attacks are good for him. Again, just not good enough with what's currently out. Now let's look at the skills, right? If you look at his overall numbers, the numbers are actually fairly high. 1,200 for max skill there, 1,020. This one's a little low, but this does deal wind elemental damage. The skill can be used up to 3 times, so it is 3 times, just like Wu's skill. And when the final land hits, it knocks down the target when this skill hits, and it removes the shield. So this is really meant to be a shield remover. That's what it's for, but it's too niche. Know what I mean? Not enough things have shields in this game where that's all they're going to focus on. So they need to literally improve this number quite a bit and give it another element. Give it another element. Remove shields, steal shields. Why not steal a shield? Why not give a shield to the rest of your group? That would be incredible for someone like Thomas as well too on the team, right? So, and then if you look at this Greed Scavenger, again, the numbers are fairly high, but again, there really doesn't have anything else based on there. They should give this a little bit more love. Now, Greed Scavenger, it gets upgraded eventually to something else. We'll see that shortly. Cold-Blooded Connection, again, removal of the shield is great. Does have a stun effect, which is actually pretty damn good. So he's actually fairly good support unit for SJW. But again, most people don't use him because they use Meilin for shield removal. Plus, she gives the attack up. So the stun is nice, but, you know, give us a little bit more. Here, QTE, another one. This is another one here that needs, like, the numbers are fairly decent again, but something else that would really be nice here would be like increases elemental damage. That'd be wicked to have, right? Ultimate, again, does insanely good numbers, 6,000, but again, it's just a big attack. Buff something. Give him more defense. Apply more defense with this skill, right? And then look at his passive. Let's look at his passives here, okay? When the user is hit or urged to kill, steel blow, or S rank influence is used, it applies the impulse effect. So impulse increases the user's defense by 3%, stacking up to 5 times. Pretty damn good, right? You can get yourself fairly decent amount of defense stacking here, and it's only an A0, right? Now, Impulse Revenge, this will remove impulse effect when this effect is active, increases user's defense by 24%, creates a shield equal to 12% of the user's defense. When applying the effect for the first time, Grease Scavenger is enhanced, the damage is doubled, and the cooldown resets. So overall, fantastic A0. Again, he has a lot of potential. And this is something they need to somehow scale better and give him better gear. Now, Greed Scavenger can be charged up to tier 2 and its damage increased by 150%. Depending on the charge time, super armor is applied while using Greed Scavenger. So this is actually really good. His A1 is really good, but again, unfortunately, it's just not strong enough because Greed Scavenger here, as a skill overall, does fairly decent, but again, it needs to add something else to the actual effect. It shouldn't rely on the passive, you know what I mean? Like, having the tier 2 is nice, having the extra damage is nice, having super armor is applied is nice, but give it something else. Add some more element to it. Give him a defense shred even. Provide a defense shred. I don't think they have a defense shred on this team whatsoever, right? So it'd be nice to at least have that in there. Now, if you look at the A2, it increases his defense by 8%. So again, defensively, he has a lot of defense. Each time the user uses Urge to Kill or Greed Scavenger, it grants Madness, increases user's defense and defense penetration by 4%, stacking up to 3 times. The defense is nice. This defense penetration needs to be removed, in my opinion. I don't see an effect for it. Again, add defense shred. Reduces target's defense by 20%. That's a way better option. I would be using him way more often in a win team if he had a defense removal. I think that would be a big deal there, right? And then A4 increases the user's merciless damage by 40%, and then lastly increases the user's merciless damage by 80% while Impulse Revenge is active. So overall, his numbers are big, but they just don't reflect the damage you see in game. He just needs a better overall haul. He needs a defense shred, I think, more utility, a better overall kit to make him more viable. There's just too much out there. Hansimi provides too much buffs. Mirai provides too much damage. Wu is the only breaker really that's worthwhile having on that team. At the end of the day, what's the point of Dongsoo? Well, you got to give him utility. You got to make him worthwhile. So with the release of Thomas, I'm really hoping this one specific unit gets a lot of love because, again, they are both in the Scavenger Guild, and I think he is a great character with a fantastic skill set. Just needs to be amplified with much better results. Plus, at this point, defensive units need a better overall armor set that buffs them as damage dealers because these defensive units are no longer considered quote-unquote tanks. Defense in this game equals damage at this point. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think in this whole theory of mine, this whole kit replacement, and if you want Dongsoo to be upgraded. I think I do personally. I don't want to be calling him Dongpoo anymore. I want to actually see Dongsoo and actually use him before, Greed comes up. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.